Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. We shall offer our grateful namaskars at the lotus feet of Bhagwan for giving us this one more golden opportunity to sing His name together. At this juncture, I would like to mention that we received the sad news of the passing away of Shri Kumar, who has done so much service to Bhagwan in the ashram, in all those grand functions held in ashram and in Nadra. And with great care and devotion, he had done all his service. It's with a deep sense of loss we offer our pranams to the departed soul and pray that his family be given the required strength to bear the loss. Shri Kumar அவர்கள் இறைவனின் திருவடிகளை அடைந்ததாக கேள்விப்பட்டோம். அன்னார் அவருடைய தந்தையாருக்கு பிறகு நம்முடைய ஆசிரமத்திற்கும் பகவானுக்கும் பெரிய பெரிய ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம், கும்பாபிஷேகம், நர்தராவில் கும்பாபிஷேகம், இங்கு சென்டினரி செலிப்ரேஷன்ஸ் மிகவும் உற்சாகமாய் பங்கு கொண்டு பக்தியோடு தொண்டாற்றினார். அவருடைய மறைவு நம் எல்லோருக்கும், ஆசிரமத்திற்கு ஒரு பெரிய லாஸ் என்று சொல்லலாம். அன்னாருக்கு நம்முடைய ஆத்மார்த்தமான அஞ்சலியை செலுத்துகிறோம். அவருடைய குடும்பத்தார்களுக்கு பகவான் அவர்கள் பெரிய பலத்தை கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்று வேண்டிக் கொள்கிறோம். Now today we shall see once again some glimpses of Bhagwan's stories of his glory, stories of his Nama's glory. To begin with, Srimati Tilakavathi Rajashekar is well known to the devotees of Bhagwan. And Bhagwan had often told her that all the 64 Leelas of Sundareshwara of Madurai were his own Leelas. He made it clear to her and to all of us that he is none other than Lord Sundareshwara, Lord Shiva of Madurai. And every time Tilakavathi Amma used to go to Meenakshi Temple to collect some vibhuti and kumkum from the temple, which were dear to Bhagwan. Once it happened that just before she left for Tiruvannamalai, she went to Shri Meenakshi Temple, but then she found, to her dismay, there was such crowd. So much so, she had difficulty moving inside. There was so much jostling, nudging. She found it very difficult even to breathe at times while moving with the crowd. And it took almost an hour to reach the sanctum sanctorum of Meenakshi. And all the while she felt the difficulties acutely. And then it struck her very naturally, why should I take pains to go to visit, to have darshan of Lord Sundareshwara, when I have found Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Lord Sundareshwara in flesh and blood. This is only a stone image, whereas I have Lord Sundareshwara in flesh and blood. He is breathing, he is living, he is moving with us, interacting with all the devotees. When he is so available to all his devotees, why rush like this to see the stone image of him? It was only a thought. And then, of course, she collected vibhuti and kumkum promptly. And then she left for Tiruvannamalai. When she went to Sanadi Street House and offered these ashes on kumkum, Bhagwan was very happy to receive them. He was almost ecstatic when he expressed, Tilakavathi, don't think it is an ordinary stone image, Tilakavathi. The same powerful Sundareshwara who performed all those 64 Leelas is there. He is radiating 100% divinity. What a message. While moving on with the crowd, it was a passing thought when she saw the crowd and the difficulties involved in reaching the sanctum. And here, Yogi Ramsuratkumar knew what thoughts passed through her. And he was giving a reply without her having to say anything at all. And what reply? A reply, a revelation to all of us, for all time to remember. The stone images In the sanctum sanctorum of temples are no stone images. They are the very vibrant presence of the divine. They are truly the Lord. It's called Archavataram. Avatar, and it is Archa, that is, it is the Murti for worship. And it's very powerful. So from this glimpse of Bhagwan, from this revelation, we understand that nobody should talk lightly of the stone images. I should not even repeat the word stone image. The presence of the Lord. Tilakavathi Amma had great love and devotion towards Sundareshwara. It's not that she didn't have devotion. It's just that when you have the same Lord in flesh and blood, it makes all the difference. So it was only a passing thought, and Bhagwan promptly handled it to the advantage of all the devotees. So we got the message. Now we shall shift over to another scene. It is Maharashtra, Bombay, the Shringi mountain. And there's a temple there, Shri Bhawani. It's a very special and powerful place, much visited by the devotees. Now once, Rajakumari Amma and Shri Murgeshji and their friends, family, together, they wanted to go there. If we go into the background of this time in the life of Shri Murgeshji, I believe at one time when his family and his friends' families, they visited Bhagwan and they were with Bhagwan day and night, for nearly 10 days. And there was much singing of songs, and they were even being recorded with Bhagwan's permission. But the continuous stay in the presence of, the vibrant presence of Bhagwan did something to Srimati Rajakumari. It happens when the energy is too high. It takes some preparation of the body and mind to be able to be with such energy. I have seen different people reacting differently to the presence of Bhagwan, to the presence of that vibrant divine energy. It happened to Rajakumari that she fainted, and again that she got frightened. She thought something was happening in the presence of Bhagwan, which was not very pleasant to her, and she was frightened. So she wanted to keep away for some time, She has written about this in one of the articles, in one of the souvenirs. So they kept her with the whole family. So Murgeshji was so devoted to Bhagwan that Bhagwan used to call him the king. And Bhagwan would say that Shri Murgeshji ruled his heart. And therefore, he was a king, the king of his heart. Such was the bond, the love bond between the Guru and the disciple. And yet, Sri Murgeshji contained his love and devotion for the sake of his wife, who was very frightened, was thoroughly frightened. So he too kept away from Bhagwan for nearly 4 years. It was at the end of this 4 years that they decided to visit this place, Shri Bhawani Temple, a temple of the Divine Mother. They had to climb up the mountain. They were Rajakumari and her husband, his friend's wife had a young baby, only 40 days old. So they left her downhill with a car, and they took 5 children, Rajakumari, Murgeshji's children, and the friend's children. So the elders and the children, they climbed up, reached the temple, attended the puja to their heart's content, and then it became evening. Those people there, they said, it's going to be night soon, it will be dark, very difficult to go down the hill now. Better stay the night here. But they could not afford to stay the night there because the friend's wife was down there, the downhill, with a little baby, and they had to go down. So they started, and they were coming down, and soon it was all darkness everywhere. There was not a single light anywhere, and it was blinding darkness. But somehow they groped in the darkness, they moved slowly, step by step. I mean, it was not steps actually, they had to climb down. And in places, it was so dark, they could not see anything at all. On the one side, there was also a river flowing, and they could hear the noise of the river. At one point, there were steps, and not knowing there were steps, every one of them fell down. So their children started to cry. Rajakumari was crying in fear. The fear gripped everybody's heart. They just did not know how to proceed further, and suddenly somebody came there and said they were moving down the wrong path, it would not take them to the downhill. So they had to once again climb up a little and then start coming down. Again it was dark, and Rajakumari was thoroughly frightened. They panicked. And then they heard the rundown of the river water. And suddenly there was a little light. There was an old man with a turban, and he was lighting his cigarette with a matchstick. And in that light, Rajakumari saw this man with a turban. And without her knowledge, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama came up from inside. Without knowing, without her own volition, she started to chant Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Ma Jaya Guru Raya. And soon after she started singing the name, chanting the name, everything changed dramatically. Soon there were a few people coming up with a stick with a bundle of cloth burning. They had this fire which they carried with a stick of fire, and they were advancing up so these people could see the path, and they went down further, and very soon their own driver, the van driver, was coming up with a torchlight. Getting down became much easier, well directed, and there was some light or the other all the way. Just see the difference. Before she started the name, how difficult it was, complete darkness, falling down and crying out with panic gripping them. But soon after, the name came up of its own volition. Things changed dramatically. So they immediately, Rajakumari's attitude changed. She felt confident. She felt the presence of Bhagwan and the guidance they got, the protection the Nama gave. And soon after that, they wanted to visit Bhagwan. So after 4 years, they visited Bhagwan. Bhagwan welcomed them with such love. Here again, 2 days back, we saw how Veluchami, when he went through the cave, when he was crawling in the cave, every time he cried out some expletive other than the Nama of Bhagwan, the figure was striking him. But the minute the Nama came from inside, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Maharaj ki Jai, the same figure ran away. Screaming, it ran away. How it averted the danger of getting killed. Now again today, from this glimpse, we see until the Nama came up on its own, how difficult it was for all these people. And after the Nama came up, how easy the whole thing became. Now in both the cases, they had chanted the name so much before that the Nama came up at the right time when they needed it badly. When they needed the help badly, the Nama came up of its own volition, and after that there was a dramatic change. Now let's have